My family and I are super close. We love spending time together, especially going on vacations. We try to go on trips together 2 or 3 times a year. Even if someone can't come with us, we always bring back a souvenir for them to feel like they were there with us. I'm Jenny, I'm 27, and I live with my family. My dad's often busy with work, so he's away a lot. My sister's married and moved out, so it's usually just me, my mom, and my grandfather at home. Lately, my sister hasn't been herself. Even when she visits, she seems sad. Are you okay, sis? You don't seem yourself lately. Yeah, I'm fine, really. I've noticed you're not smiling much. Is everything okay with your in-laws? Yeah, everything's fine. Stop asking weird questions. My sister got really defensive and upset. She went to her in-laws' house that day, but she didn't seem happy about it. After a few days, she came back looking really scared. What's wrong, sis? You look really scared. I'm not scared, but you're shaking. What happened? Oh, it's nothing. I'm just a bit cold. I was worried seeing my sister like this. Soon after, someone knocked on our door. It was Sean, my sister's husband. Hey, there you are. We were worried about you. Oh, Sean. Sorry for the trouble. Rachel was feeling homesick. Let's go home, okay? Yeah, okay. And she left with Sean, but she seemed really desperate. Mom, do you think something's wrong with sis? You noticed it too. She seemed really scared when she saw Sean. I got worried. Do you think she's being treated badly at her in-laws' place? With that worry in mind, I decided to visit her in-laws' house one day. Layla, my sister's mother-in-law, greeted me at the door. Oh, Jenny, it's been a while. What brings you here? Well, my sister's been acting strange, so I wanted to make sure everything's okay here. Everything's fine, really. Nothing out of the ordinary. If you say so. As we were talking by the entrance, we heard a loud noise coming from the living room. Oh no, what's going on? What's that noise? I'm not sure. Look, I'm really busy today. You should probably go back. Wait, why won't you let me in? You're already in the doorway, aren't you? That's not what I meant. Layla wouldn't let me inside the house. I was turned away and couldn't check on my sister. But a few days later, something terrible happened. My sister came home crying. Oh, sis, what's happened? Are you all right? What's wrong? She just cried and couldn't tell me. But when I looked closer, I saw bruises on her body. It seemed like Layla and Sean had hurt her. This is terrible. How could they do this? I held my sister tight as we cried together, but she seemed to have something even more worrying on her mind. The baby. Our baby. My sister already has a baby, but the little one is just a tiny infant who can't do much on their own. She came home, but there was no sign of the baby with her. Sis, where's the baby? What happened? Through her tears, she told me, they hurt our baby. What do you mean? What did they do? I've been putting up with it for so long. Sean's been abusive, my mother-in-law's been harassing me. But when I tried to stand up for myself, they threatened the baby. That's awful. She was trying to protect the baby. I tried to endure as much as I could, but my sister's voice trembled and she couldn't continue. Just then, Grandpa walked in. What's going on? What happened? Through tears, my sister explained everything to Grandpa. Was all Grandpa said, but then he quickly made a phone call. Who are you calling? I asked, but Grandpa didn't answer. He just said, we're going to their house. So with Mom, my sister, and me in tow, Grandpa drove us to the in-laws' house. After about a 10-minute drive, we arrived. What's happening? What a surprise to see the whole family here. Layla greeted us, acting like she didn't know anything. I've heard that you hurt my granddaughter and even my great-grandchild. Grandpa said calmly, but Layla just laughed. So what? It's not a big deal. And besides, it's all her fault. She pointed at my sister. I wondered what she could possibly be blaming my sister for. She told Sean to cut back on eating sausages because they're high in purine, and he was eating them almost every day. What's the problem with him eating what he wants? My sister was just worried about her husband's health. And you hurt my granddaughter over something like that. You're making a big deal out of nothing. It's ridiculous for you to bring your whole family here over this. Are you all fools? Layla laughed without any shame. Grandpa stayed quiet, but the furrowed lines on his forehead showed he was angry. Then my sister's husband, Scene, showed up. "Hey, Rachel, you're back. Did you go to your parents' place again? I was worried about you," he said, not looking worried at all. "So why is the whole family here?" "We're here to confront you." "Huh? Confront Mom? What's this old man talking about?" "I don't know, maybe he's losing his mind." Layla and Scene laughed, and even Grandpa started to laugh. "What the heck are you all laughing at?" "I was just thinking about what's going to happen to you too. It should be any minute now." "What do you mean, arrive?" As soon as Grandpa finished talking, cars started pulling up one after another and parking in front of my in-laws' house. "What's going on?" People started getting out of the cars, one by one, surrounding the house. There were about 30 people, and I recognized most of them. They were all my relatives. What in the world? Who are all these people? Why are there so many? They're my family. They all came because they heard my granddaughter was mistreated. What? They're crowding our house like this. It's annoying. Well then, let's go inside your house. With that, Grandpa led our relatives inside. Hey, don't just barge in like that. We followed Grandpa inside, and in the living room, my sister's baby was crying. Oh no, his face is all swollen. My sister hurriedly picked up the baby. Could it be? They've been hurting the baby since my sister left. That's a serious problem. Did you really hurt such a small child? That's not it. It was unavoidable. We didn't want to do this. Layla claimed that the baby wouldn't stop crying, so they had to hit him. You don't hit a child just because they're crying. Layla and Scene are wrong. I can't forgive this. How dare you do this to my family? Some of our relatives are police officers, so we can press assault charges, Grandpa said angrily. But wait, isn't this a civil matter if it's between family members? Not necessarily, especially if there's evidence of assault. Grandpa confirmed with the relatives, and they agreed. After what they did to my sister and the baby, I won't be satisfied until they're taken away by the police. I insisted, but Layla and Scene kept making weak excuses. We don't need to make a big deal out of this. We just need to make sure it doesn't happen again. You're overreacting. Layla's voice shook, indicating she understood how serious this was. Hey, Rachel, say something. We didn't do anything wrong, right? It was just a little rough handling, Scene yelled at my sister. My sister stayed silent, looking down. Come on, Rachel, say something. We're married, aren't we? Stand up for me, Scene demanded. Grandpa immediately stepped in front of my sister, shouting at Scene, How dare you speak to my granddaughter like that? Just because Rachel and I are married doesn't mean you can treat her however you want. It's not right. That's enough. According to you, no matter how much you hurt Rachel, we shouldn't interfere because we're not blood relatives. But as family, how can we stand by and watch? Grandpa's anger was intense, and Scene was so frightened that he started to cry. Wait a minute. You're the ones who came into our house uninvited. Isn't that trespassing? If I called the police, wouldn't you be the ones in trouble? We're ready to face the consequences for that, but you need to realize you're doing something worse. Trespassing. You should deal with that first. What do you mean? Tears started falling from Layla's eyes. Suddenly, Layla charged into the crowd of relatives. Hey, what do you think you're doing? As Grandpa tried to stop her, Layla had already grabbed my sister. Why did you bring all these people here? You're causing trouble. Leave now. Layla shook my sister by the shoulders. Fix this. Fix it right now. Stop it. Let her go. Grandpa forcefully pulled Layla away. Wow, throwing around a fragile woman like that. How cruel. Could this be considered assault? Layla tried to provoke him, but Grandpa wasn't swayed. Don't think that'll work. The problem is you attacking Rachel just now. But it's not my fault. We were living peacefully, and then this happens because of her. Maybe you were living in peace, but Rachel wasn't. It seems you've been quite cruel to her, even to your own great-grandchild. How can you be so shameless? I'm not being shameless, I'm just stating the facts. Rachel, say something. You've been silent this whole time. It's your fault all of this is happening. Layla continued to yell at my sister. Then, my sister, who had been silent with her head down, finally spoke up. Mother-in-law, I don't want to live in this house anymore. What are you talking about? You and Scene have always treated me terribly. I never imagined my marriage would turn out like this. I want a divorce. A divorce? Rachel, my sister, must have been holding back for a long time to suddenly say this. She sacrificed herself to protect her child. With the support of Grandpa and Mom, she seemed to find her courage. With a determined look, she declared her intention to divorce Scene. "Don't joke around. I'll never agree to a divorce. You're going to be my servant forever." "No way. I'm not your tool. I won't let you control me. You're definitely my granddaughter. When you decide to act, you really act." Grandpa was impressed by my sister's strong stance. "This isn't the time for this conversation. I won't allow a divorce with Scene. I need a servant too. If you're talking about divorcing, you'll have to compensate Scene." "Why would there be any need for compensation? Of course you've been a pain in the neck for Scene all this time. You owe us a few $1,000,000 in damages." "Hold on, that's going too far." Grandpa quickly intervened. "It's actually you who have been causing trouble, isn't it? You've treated Rachel and my great-granddaughter terribly. You should be the ones paying damages for the divorce." "What? There's no way we're paying that. Besides, we don't have that kind of money." "I won't accept any excuses. You'll pay, even if it's in installments. We have lawyers in the family, so don't think you can just get away with it." "What? You even have lawyers?" "Mom, what should we do in this situation? Should we apologize?" "What are you talking about? We don't even know if an apology will be accepted. But if the company finds out about our divorce, it will be awkward at work." Work. Grandpa seemed to recall something. "Come to think of it, I remember hearing about Rachel's husband's company somewhere." "Ah, I remember now. You work for the company run by my relatives." "What? You have relatives there too?" There are plenty of consequences awaiting you, but your trespassing isn't the worst of your crimes, is it? We need to address that first." "Fired. Not only divorce, but fired. Don't joke around. I absolutely won't allow that. Do you think saying you don't want to will get you out of trouble? Think about what you've done." "Mom, do something. I'm going to lose my job." This is outrageous. It's unfair, all of this piled up on us like this. Who started with the outrageous behavior? All I've been doing is protecting my dear granddaughter." Grandpa's eyes were stern as he looked at Layla and Scene. They were so scared they couldn't even respond. "Let's end this conversation here, Rachel. You can relax now. Our relatives will take care of the rest." "Thank you, Grandpa." As Grandpa began to leave the in-laws' home with my sister, Layla and Scene started to cry out in despair. Wait. We're the ones who were wrong. Please don't go through with the divorce. I'm begging you." Scene was shouting desperately, but my sister didn't look back. She got into Grandpa's car, and they drove away. "You should give up. Everything that's happened is your own fault." "Why? Why did this have to happen?" "It's all Mom's fault." "What? I'm not the one at fault here. You are." "What did you just say?" Scene and Layla kept arguing until they were out of sight. We went home after that, leaving the legal matters to our family lawyer, the police, and our company's owner. In the end, my sister was able to divorce Scene and even got a settlement. Furthermore, Scene was fired from his job, and it seemed hard for him to find a new one. My sister was finally free, and she couldn't help but cry tears of joy. A while later, we noticed Scene loitering around our house. It seemed like he wanted to reconcile with my sister, but she had no intention of that happening. The moment Grandpa saw Scene, he was furious. He immediately called our family member, who was a police officer and had Scene arrested for stalking. After that, a restraining order was placed on Scene, and he no longer came around our house. Finally, peace had come to our home. My sister said she plans to raise her baby with the support of our family for a while. I too am helping take care of the baby and enjoying my life with my wonderful family.